How to save money when traveling solo. Hi, I'm Lori, a senior solo traveler, and one question that I often get asked is, how can you avoid paying extra when traveling solo? No one wants to pay for an imaginary person when booking hotels, cruises, and vacation packages. So I thought I'd share some of the ways I've learned to save money when I travel. Some of these ideas are good for solo travelers, but most of these work for anyone trying to save money on a trip. Your best money savings start before your trip when planning, booking, and preparing. So let's start there. Number 1, look for zero single supplement deals. Now, of course, this is where many people start, but determining if the zero single supplement deals are worthwhile takes a bit more investigation. There are many cruises and land tours that offer rates specifically for solo travelers. For cruises, both Vacations to Go and Cruise Plum offer navigation search tools for finding zero single supplement cruise deals. For land trips, there are companies such as G Adventures, Overseas Adventure Travel, and Women Travel Abroad that offer programs specifically for solo travelers. These are just a few places I have found, but there are many cruise and tour operators out there that are trying to attract solo travelers. If you have found a great resource that I haven't mentioned, please share in the comments section. If you do find a trip that excites you, make sure you do the math before booking. Just because it is advertised as a solo traveler deal doesn't mean it is your best bet. For example, sometimes paying for 2 people in a regular cruise ship cabin can be less expensive than a solo cabin. Also, if you are a braver sort, there are some tours and cruises that offer an option to randomly be assigned a roommate. This isn't for me, but if you are willing to take a chance, it might be a way to afford one of your bucket list trips. Number 2, eliminate high-cost countries and popular destinations. A good way to learn the affordability of a destination is to check the hotel rates at the time that you are interested in going. It is a good indicator of how much everything will cost. If the hotels are expensive, then the food and transportation most likely will be too. And if you want to lower the cost of your trip, avoid popular destinations. Going off the beaten path can yield good savings. It is a matter of supply and demand. If you go to a desirable location, you will always have to pay more. If you explore some lesser-known locations, you will not only save money, but you will avoid the crowds. Number 3, travel in the off-season. Summertime and holidays are usually the most expensive times to travel. Try traveling in the off-season when you can find better rates. One caveat, check the weather for that time of year. You might get a great deal, but if it is in, say, the rainy season, you might want to reconsider. September is one of the best times to find deals. Number 4, book travel according to deals. Rather than looking at destinations first, look to see what deals are available. Maybe it isn't a place that was on your bucket list, but much of the joy in traveling is exploring with a curious mind. Some of my best experiences traveling have been when I found myself in an unplanned destination. Number 5, be flexible with dates. Unless you are retired, this might not work for you. However, the more flexible you can be with your dates, the more likely you can take advantage of special deals. Last-minute cheap flights are difficult to score, but last-minute hotel and package deals are plentiful. Number 6, always be looking. Of course, you need to know a deal when you see one, so it helps if you are always actively looking. If you can quickly identify a deal when you see it, then you can act on it swiftly. Deals and special promotions typically don't last long, so you will want to book expeditiously when you spot a fabulous deal. Number 7, travel close to home. If you plan a road trip, you will save dramatically by eliminating the expensive flights. You will also have more freedom with your dates. If you do decide to take a solo road trip, I would suggest planning less than 5 hours of drive time per day. Otherwise, your trip becomes too much of a drudge. Also, I've found that making frequent stops often lands you in small towns that can surprise you. I recently stopped in the town of Tonopah, Nevada on a road trip, which was definitely not on my bucket list. However, I discovered a beautifully restored historic hotel that was just lovely. It was a little slice of the Old West. Number 8, look for flight deals. A big chunk of your travel bill is often the flight, but this is one place where you don't have to pay double as a solo traveler. When booking flights, I use Google Flights to track dates and destinations. They have a price tracker that notifies me if there is a drop in price, so I can book at the lower rate. Google Flights also shows you the various pricing by date, so you can see if you book a day or two earlier or later if there is a savings. Google Explore shows the cheapest flights near your destination. So let's say you want to go to Bordeaux, but you see a better price to Madrid. You might be able to save money by flying to Madrid and taking a train or shuttle flight to Bordeaux. In this example, it is not worth the savings to fly to Madrid because it would require an 8 to 9 hour bus or train ride, but you might find other scenarios where it is worth it. Going is another site I use often. It allows you to enter your home airport as well as nearby airports and lists all the flight deals from those airports. You can also plug in places you'd like to go, and it will send you notifications when there is a specific deal to that destination. And one more note. Once you book the best deal you can find, see if you can have the mileage accrue to an airline you will most likely fly again. This isn't possible on all airlines, but most major airlines are affiliated, and you can choose to which airline you want your miles to accrue. For example, I fly Delta frequently, so when I recently booked a deal on SAS, I was able to have the mileage accrue on Delta. Just make sure you do this when booking, as it is difficult to change after the fact. Number 9, lodging. When booking hotels, spend the extra money to have the option of free cancellation. Then a week or so before your trip, check prices again. Often you will find last-minute deals, and you can take advantage of them if you aren't locked in. If you are on a really tight budget, one of your cheapest options is to book a single room at an Airbnb or hostel. This might mean sharing a bathroom, but if you want a cheap place to crash and don't mind sharing, these can be good options. But do your research to make sure the environment is safe and clean. Also, don't assume that an Airbnb will be cheaper than a hotel. Sometimes the extra fees can be substantial, and it might be cheaper to book an inexpensive hotel, especially for short stays. Number 10, consider location when booking lodging. Before you book your lodging, check to see if it is near public transportation or within walking distance of the sites you wish to see. You don't want to save on a hotel only to spend your savings on transportation. Number 11, research ground transportation in advance. Public transportation is always the least expensive way to go, and in many cities it is quicker than a taxi. Of course, this requires you to learn the system in advance. You may need to download an app and/or load money onto a transportation card. Once you get over the initial anxiety of it, you will find it is usually a fairly simple process. Now, if you don't want the hassle of learning the public transportation in a new city or want the convenience of a door-to-destination pickup and drop-off, then you should learn what is the cheapest rideshare or taxi service at your destination. Don't assume that ride shares are always cheaper than taxis, and don't assume that taxis are always safer than ride shares. Here are some examples. In Santiago, I learned that Ubers were safer than taxis, and that if I did take a taxi, it should only be booked by the hotel to ensure my safety. When in Japan, I learned Go Taxi was the same price as an Uber, but was more prevalent. And in Cartagena, I found that Uber was substantially less expensive than a taxi. But here's the kicker. Whether you take a taxi or a rideshare, download the app and request a ride rather than flagging one down. It is better for the app to determine the price than for you to be at the mercy of a driver. If you flag a taxi down, they could drive you in circles in order to increase the price on the meter or force you to haggle over the price. There are some cities where this is more of a problem than others. And if you can't speak the language, you will avoid having to communicate your destination with the driver. Now, hailing a taxi from the airport with the app won't work there. You will need to get in the taxi queue. But from most any other locations in a city, it is best to use an app. Number 12, get a travel rewards card. Anyone who is a frequent traveler will want to have a good travel rewards card that provides a wide range of travel benefits. The points you receive from using your card can give you miles for future flights, hotels, and vacation packages. In addition, a good travel card will also provide travel insurance if you book the trip using that card. For example, I pay for all my trips using the American Express Reserve card, which covers up to $10,000 for trip cancellation, delay, luggage loss, etc. I purchase additional medical insurance, but it is minimal compared to what I would have to pay separately to insure everything that Amex does. Number 13, don't pay foreign transaction fees. There are numerous credit cards out there that don't have foreign transaction fees, so make sure you don't have a credit card that does. A foreign transaction fee occurs when you charge something in a foreign currency. The fee is typically between 1 and 5%, which can add up. It might be a simple phone call to your credit card company to check if they have these charges. If they do, see if you can switch to a card that doesn't. Number 14, don't buy special clothes for travel. There is always a temptation in the excitement before travel to purchase additional clothing. Unless you really think you need something, try to make do with what you have. Number 15, pack carry-on only. If you can manage to travel with only a carry-on, you eliminate baggage fees, with the added bonus of saving time at the airport. For packing help, I have posted numerous videos on packing and have left links in the description below. So now that you have booked and planned your trip, there are things you can do to save at your destination. Number 16, discount passes and travel cards. If you are going to be in a city for more than a couple days, check to see if there are discount passes or travel cards available. Some cities issue free public transportation passes if you book at one of their hotels. Some cities have museum and attraction passes where you pay one fee and it gives you access to numerous sites. This is especially valuable if you're going to be somewhere for at least a week. If less, do the math to make sure it is worth it. I recently purchased the Amsterdam City card on a 4-day trip to the city. I was given free or discounted admission at many places and saved about $20 when all was said and done. It might have been a bigger savings if I had been there longer. Number 17, pay in local currency. When using a credit card in a foreign country, you will often be asked to choose between paying for the item in local currency or your currency. Always choose their currency and let the bank convert it for you. You'll get the best rate if the bank converts it. Number 18, take public transportation. Taking public transportation in a foreign city can be intimidating, especially for a solo traveler. However, it is usually fairly simple and becomes easier after you take that first ride. If you spend the time researching before you leave and still feel uncomfortable, ask a local or your hotel desk clerk. They can often give you some advice. If I am unsure, I opt for buses over subways because my map apps work above ground better. In this way, I can plug my destination into the map app to follow along and make sure the bus I am on is going in the right direction. Number 19, eat fewer restaurant meals. This may require an adjustment for those of you with the habit of eating 3 squares a day, but it can save you time and money. Often restaurants are less crowded if you eat a late breakfast and early dinner, which allows you more time for exploring. And sometimes you can get deals during happy hour. If you get hungry, purchase a few snacks to tide you over. Also consider buying food at a grocery store and taking it to a park or public space to eat. In that way, you can enjoy the local culture, but avoid the expensive restaurant food. In some countries such as Japan, convenience stores offer a plethora of ready-to-go quick foods, including salads, sandwiches, and ramen. Number 20, resist splurging. Often when in the midst of a vacation, there is the temptation to splurge on something more expensive than you would purchase at home. Stick to your normal spending habits and don't overindulge. You will feel better when you get back home and have fond memories rather than huge credit card bills. So those are my 20 tips for saving money when traveling solo. If you have other suggestions for travelers, please share in the comments section. We'd love to hear from you. Check out the Senior Solo Travel website where all my videos are laid out in an easy-to-access format, and the Travel Facebook forum where you can interact with other travelers. I've left links to those sites in the description, as well as to other travel advice videos. And if you'd like to follow my senior and solo travel journeys, please like and subscribe. Cheers!